Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I want to do a quick catch up with you from yesterday and today, and some oracle cards at the end as well. Today is August 21st, 2018, and yesterday I did get some downloads, but my energy wasn't right to do a video yesterday. I actually napped yesterday, which I never do, and had a little bit of a purge last night, and that hasn't happened for a while. So just want to catch up with you in the information. I guess it's the right time. So yesterday, I'm going to start with yesterday, and then I'll get into the 21st, which is the world, of course. Yesterday was the 20th, which was judgment, and then the day added up to 39-3, which was the Knight of Cups. So it's about judgment, final decisions, and an offer of love, or just offering love in general. But judgment was coming up very heavy yesterday. So some of the information that I was getting yesterday, and also lately I've been adding some vitamins to my regimen, trying to wean off some things that I don't want to be on, and so that might be throwing my system off a little bit, which is probably why I had a little bit of a purge yesterday. But I'm sure it needed to be released, so there's always a reason. The read for yesterday, the major arcana, and today there were 7 major arcana in the read, so it was a big deal. Yesterday was also 5: the Star, Alchemy, Justice, Shadow, and Reflection, which alchemy in this deck is the Temperance card, and then the Shadow is the Devil, and Reflection is the Hermit. Okay, so there was 1 sword yesterday, 4 wands yesterday, 1 cup, no pentacles, and I don't think there were pentacles today either. And then the Knight of Cups was the only character. The King of Cups was the only character in the read yesterday. And pride was the big issue that came up yesterday. Okay, so for the coding yesterday, and was definitely getting Lou and the Devil coming up. So those shadow aspects of yourself. I was getting like you are the star, he who stands alone, not co-creating is due to pride issues. Like the Devil is the one who needs to shine, the star. And it was like he without she, or the co-creation again, was just accentuating that divided we fall. Okay, so the Devil doesn't have to be something evil, it's just the shadow part of ourselves, being detached from our higher self. So right, we fall when we detach from our higher self, and we fall when we detach from our twin, because our twin is our higher self. So, and don't let pride get in the way of those things. I was getting lightning strikes at the moon. Not seen in the past. Just like a rush of emotions were flooding in. Heartbreak and separation for twins due to feeling shame and guilt for taking what was not theirs or yours. So you thought, anyway. Actually was about getting attention and achieving sovereignty while not quite grounded due to separation from self. So this whole process, it's kind of summarizing what you've been through. You've received it all, but felt shame, guilt, and unworthiness to have it all. So when you met your twin, you had it all, right? You were so happy and you had that bubble phase. But then the wounds come up of not being worthy of this happiness. So you've gone through the spiral of all of that. The pain, the betrayal, at cross purpose with expressing your feelings. The fear of expressing your feelings, the bridging or growing a path together by healing the injuries, wounds of loss of life, of limb, abandonment, rejection, humiliation, and justice, which those have been brought up as the 5 wounds. And then with my codes and my guidance during this, I was being shown the parallel between these 5 major wounds and the 5 wounds of Christ. which the number that comes up for that is 5466, which 54 is the Page of Swords and 66 the Queen of Pentacles, which is kind of like where the Divine Masculine and Feminine are right now. The Divine Masculine being the Page of Swords, wanting to communicate a little bit, and then the Queen of Pentacles in her grounded self, her well-rounded self. So the wounds were coming up as the 5 wounds of Christ. So the rejection and abandonment, which are very closely related, had to do with the feet, and they were nailed to the cross together. The hands being, and initially I thought the hands were humiliation and injustice, but then I realized, getting more information, that the hands are betrayal and humiliation, and then the wound in the side was like the heart wound, the last one, the injustice. Because injustice is, just think about it, court is always the last ditch effort in any kind of wound, right? When you want to get justice. And then if you can't get justice, you have to release the wound, because there's nothing more you can do. You either suffer or you release the wound. So, and Spirit's connecting with me. And also that it's like they're not mutually exclusive. It's like they build upon each other. Like rejection is the first thing that happens to you, when you're born. Literally, it's like, when you get a transplant and your body rejects. Well, when you're born, your body's rejecting the baby, right? So you first experience rejection and then abandonment, because then you're left there with some nurses. This is how it builds upon itself. And then you have humiliation, which all kids go through that growing up. And then betrayal, someone who you completely trusted betrayed you in some sense. And then as you grow older, you learn the injustice of it and wanting to correct injustices, but not realizing that the only way to correct injustices really is to heal yourself and make yourself happy, because then you raise the vibration of everyone around you. Okay? So these were the 5 wounds of Christ inflicted on Jesus during his passion, is the way it was expressed, which was called the Golden Mass. So we're going through the Golden Gate Bridge right now. So this was very relevant. Okay? That the 5 wounds of Christ were inflicted on Jesus during his passion. Okay? So this is the same thing. And Mary Magdalene, Jesus came up this week already. It's just like when I had that channeled reading of Mary and Jesus a while back when I was on the plane. It's showing you the parallel between the twin flame journey and the Jesus-Mary relationship. Because his whole journey was his passion with Mary. And then the final betrayal from Judas, and then, his crucifixion. So there was a golden mass. This was in medieval missals. I don't even know how to pronounce it. And then the rosary came up to the 50 beads for Mary, and then 5 in honor of Jesus' wounds. So the crown, I was being guided that the crown acted like acupuncture to separate his head from his body in the light. The key to growth, or the portal. And then I was getting these codes of ENT, AC, and LES, okay? And to align by the left arm up, connecting the left hand to the right shoulder, neck, ear, the top of head toward the right neck. Left hand up, right hand down. So it's getting this position with, where you have the palm up and then this one's down, okay? This energy like this. I was being guided specifically left hand up. So, and this is part of actually an energetic exercise too, as well, where you do both sides, right? But this was specifying left hand up with palm face up, and then right with palm face down. The key to growth in the portal, and ENT was coming up as ear, nose, and throat. So this position has something specific to do with the ear, nose, and throat. To align by the left arm up, connecting left hand through right shoulder, neck, ear, and then left top of head towards right neck, left hand up, right hand down, ear, nose, and throat, alternating current. So, and that's also the symbol, by the way, for actinium, which is atomic number 89, atomic weight 227, which my mail came up 2772 today, which just happened to be a chemical element that came up in my codes. But also LES comes up as space flight, launch entry suit, and then Lincoln Electric System, which also brought up Ben Franklin. So all this stuff having to do with a current, all right? So there's a current in doing this position, okay, that should be helpful. And I was also getting like flying a kite. And someone might be flying a kite with their kids or something. But also this circuit system came up as very important. This launch escape system, escape from the moon, was the escape from the moon if Apollo lunar module had any major problems. So these are all the LES things that came up. So, so we're going off into space, right? So, in case there's any issues. And of course, Major Tom comes up with that too. And then also came up with Lincoln is Lincoln Experimental Satellite. And these were totally two separate entries that came up. Lincoln came up both times. Lincoln Electric System, which brought up Ben Franklin for me, and then Lincoln Experimental Satellite came with, within the NASA stuff. So ear, nose, and throat, the AC/DC electrical current, okay, alternating currents, and then the LES of these electrical systems, satellite systems, Lincoln Electric System, space flight entry suits. Okay. So it's like talking about our energy suits, outside of ourselves. Also then came up something about the temperatures that you're supposed to set your thermostat and your air conditioning at, which were 78 and 68. I was literally getting AC 68 or over. So there was something about the range of 68 to 78. Connecting peace of mind with open heart. So this is the alternating current. Connecting peace of mind with open heart. And I was getting hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, and then I was getting warm, cool, warm, cool, warm, cool. So as you grow and you expand, you don't have to go hot, cold anymore. You learn to become warm, cool, so you don't go to the extremes, okay? This circuitry. Finding peace in foolish behavior, closing down the heart, an unhappy family, use green. So green equals heart. I was also getting then, it was showing me the relationship, since we're going as above and so below, the purple and the green relationship. So, and for me, I see, for me and my twin, when I'm seeing etherically in my meditation, I see green and purple all the time together. It's like the union of self. So the pineal and the purples or the violets, representing the heavens and the mind receiving from above, and then the heart and the earth and the heart from below, so receiving the green from below, which is connecting the green to the heart. Okay, and the mind needs to be connected to the higher self through the purple. Okay, otherwise the mind is the mind making you nuts. It's not the higher mind. So the higher mind is purple and the heart is green, and that's where you're getting the purple and greens from. To keep this circuit open, alternating, meditation, grounding, healing family issues, disconnect from sexuality, from sensuality, i.e. touch is like death, extreme burden when you don't look in each other's eyes, running from self, avoidance of self. So, the human needs touch, the human needs eye contact. So we don't have that, it's like death, it's like running away from yourself, okay, if you don't allow that. The eyes are more potent than the physical body in contact, so that eye-to-eye contact is very important, and rebirth came up as very, very important. I also got in meditation yesterday, seeing Excalibur, just like the Holy Grail. Everyone thinks of this as, everything gold and beautiful, when it's really, like shown as the humble cup, the Holy Grail. It's gold on the inside, but it's very humble. The carpenter's cup, right, on the outside. So just like that, and Spirit's connecting with me, the Excalibur was being shown to me as a garden tool. It's very humble. And when you dig into the dirt, this is truth, okay? So it's showing me the connection to the earth, having to do with Excalibur in the stone, okay? It's not about the beautiful fancy sword, it's about the humble tool you use to garden with. This is truth. I was getting yesterday the masculine child with a defensive stance, actually very sad, with multiple feathers in his cap and all, Chinese silk, scroll work, lanterns and all. Royalty and adornment means nothing without love. Even the crystal ball reflects unhappiness around the globe, but many who seem to be attacking are actually transmuting the negative energies electrically, via current, circuits, AC/DC, without using their hands. Gravitational pull into balance, the blue and the red. Temporary blocking creativity. So maybe some of the grid work, when you're called to do grid work, it's going to block your creativity, so you stop and go do the grid work. But I was getting blue referencing like the blue feminine aspect and the red masculine aspect. You know, the blue of the tears and the sadness, and then the red of the passion of the masculine. So it's just this back and forth of this, also the blue and the red, the circulating current, without using hands, so using your intention. The gravitational pull into balance, balancing the blue and the red, which blue and red are purple, right? Third eye. So recently the twins are in a holding pattern after lover's death, holding on loosely and grounding energies of transitioning timelines. The crown, the heart, and ground roots. Like in a mental breakdown, all departments of life must collapse. So, and this was something brought up. See, everything that you've learned will come up in your understanding of the codes so that you can crack these codes. So I did take abnormal psychology when I was in college, and one of the first things you learn is that in order to have a mental breakdown, a complete breakdown, everything has to be bad in your life. It can't just be 3 out of 5 parts of your life. All departments have to be bad for you to have a complete mental breakdown. So it's paralleling this to the Dark Night, and how in order for you to come back whole, you need to break down everything. Everything in life must collapse. Heartbreak, shame, guilt, betrayal, humiliation, justice, injury, family unhappiness, etc. Then the switch in current. Then I was just showing the switch happens, and then you can build back up again, okay? The alchemy of rest without any communication, okay? So this boredom is very important, and I've been shown over and over again that the card that represents boredom is actually grounding an integration period. There's a reason for boredom, so that you have time to rest and alchemize. So things that you've learned now become you. Centrally, the 5 wounds are all really one wound of pain. Arrogance of having everything has a great cost. Overwork, lack of focus at work, and shocked when justice actually prevails. Truth and balance. The challenge being stardom of the karmic magician, the karmic entitlement of independence and sex, but holding up the wrong arm, the karmic right and the enlightened left. So maybe this is also showing for the Divine Masculine, stop holding up the right arm and start holding up the left arm, okay? This is your connected arm. So, but holding up the wrong arm, the karmic right, enlightened left. The karmic feminine wants comfort and stability. The karmic masculine energy wants sex and power and status. Okay? So, just bringing up all these superficial things of arrogance. Okay? If you want to have that life, and you're working your butt off, right, all the time, so you're sacrificing all that's really, truly good in your life. And if you're working that much, then you lose focus eventually, because you just can't keep it up. And then you become arrogant when you're doing really well and you think you have it all, or you look like you have it all, but it's not really who you are, and then shocked because you don't trust anyone or anything because you've been shown that everyone betrays you in your life, or everyone lies, or whatever your situation growing up was. The divine masculine, specifically, we're talking about here, is then shocked when justice actually does prevail in their favor, showing them that truth and balance always prevails. Okay, so this is, and then bringing in the definitions of the stardom, or the need for attention of the karmic magician. So that could be the divine masculine in his superficial life. That entitlement of independence and sex, having the best looking person, being able to do whatever you want, having the most money, but holding up the wrong arm. Okay, the karmic right as opposed to the enlightened left. Okay, and so that just in general, that the feminine energy in a karmic way always seeks comfort and stability, and the masculine, sex and power. So now justice shocks the wounded warrior after impatience imprisoned in lies and division. And right when I wrote this yesterday, my friend texted me a picture of 23 Union Street, which was perfect. It was red and white flowers and plenty of green. So going back to the reading, staying present, the divine masculine, learning to stay present. And right after I received that message, I started sweating, which happens when I connect with masculine energy, I start sweating like crazy now. And with my son as well. So if I talk to him on the phone, so as soon as I start talking to him, I start sweating like crazy. And he knows this because we talk about it all the time. So before taking off, so justice shocks the wounded warrior, so the divine masculine, after impatience, imprisoned in his lies and his division, whether it's divorce or breaking up with something else, a contract, or whatever his world entails, okay? And learning to leave his blocks behind. He's seeing the blocks, what's been blocking him. So the right hand of the daily grind is a block. And there's a day in court coming up, keeping quiet about obsession and rejection and putting it out there. But there's a surprise decision. Finally taking an offer, but keeping quiet, or keeping someone else quiet. Soon, the sadness and loss of awakening, the web of lies, gets cleared up in a deliberation about a love message. The divine feminine is still is hermiting right now with light, lighting up the grid. So some people might be driving around or flying around doing grid work. The divine feminine acts as the whistleblower now, after injustice in the aftermath, the cleanup crews, the dysfunctional families holding back good fortune through out-of-control egos. Honeymoon comes up, flirt, and this is for the divine feminine, from the divine feminine's perspective. Honeymoon, so raising a relationship to, the next level. Flirt, reconciliation, and heart-to-heart conversations are all coming up around the divine feminine attention of flame. The King of Cups no longer waiting and planning on how to get out of something without hurting others. The light is clear and bright. For the divine feminine, they need to clear blocks of unconditional love, protecting self by attacking others before they can get you, or disconnecting from others before they can get you. So that's about closing up the heart. So making sure you keep your heart wide open. And by the way, the heart being cracked wide open keeps coming up in the cards yesterday and today. Low energy is also a block for the divine feminine. Low energy, illness, God, marriage, religion, and establishment. All of these blocks, anything that comes up as a trigger for you from these different topics. Low energy, illness, God, marriage, religion, establishment. And then pride comes up, the ego. So don't let your pride block you from keeping your heart open. Feelings need to be expressed about feelings divided, unable to make decisions, feeling paralyzed when you get, when you get in your head and you feel paralyzed and you just can't make decisions because you get stressed. And I know that feeling very well. But you feel, as soon as, in the past, as soon as you felt conflict, you get shut down because you can't process in that place. So it's learning to come back to 0 point so you can allow things to just flow again. The twins look in the mirror after seeing what's out there. Knowing what they see in the mirror hasn't been their truth. It's not what you see, but the interpretation of what you see. The conflict, the change, the expansion of knowledge, enlightenment, choosing your path, being abundant, and grounding time, the boredom, to integrate choices before expressing. So being patient. Don't feel like you have to rush. Okay? Anything that wants you isn't going to run away if you take your time in making decisions. For the Divine Feminine, did you run away from your Divine Masculine? So it's about being patient and not making decisions based on what other people pressuring you. It's about grounding yourself, going to 0 point, meditating, integrating, and then making a decision. When you're ready, you'll get guided. Okay, so before expressing, do this. This is when twins come together to offer what they've learned about energy to the King of Swords, who's excited to work with it. To create family happiness after looking back, moving forward, and a practical offer with creative and sexual new beginning. So separation and patience and solitude to gain attention of twin, the wounded warrior, who's healing the shadow, loving self, through justice and conflict come twins and family happiness. So it's showing you, like, for the Divine Feminine, in separation and patience and solitude, learning to this is how they gain the attention of the twin, who the masculine is the wounded warrior, healing their shadow, learning to love themselves through justice and conflict. And that's how they end up magnetizing together. And then for them to come together and have family happiness. Okay, so I also got that it is very much about the Jesus-Mary dynamic. The Divine Masculine fears if comes together with the Divine Feminine, they will be crucified, and then that brings all 5 wounds into play. Okay, because the crucifixion was the culmination of all 5 wounds. So this is the template from Jesus and Mary being played out in the Divine Masculine. His fear the whole time of coming together with the Divine Feminine was that he will be crucified. Okay. So then the coding came up for the Divine Masculine. All work and no play makes Jesus go up in flames, and Jesus is representative of the Divine Masculine. And I was getting also to combine work and home life. I was getting human resources, homeroom, like have your human resources at home, in your homeroom, to teach and learn. And it was like, for the Divine Masculine, it was urging the Divine Masculine to bring his Divine Feminine together with him in his work. Also to shaman energy was coming up as well, and also to not put up with people crying and stalling. Stay present and cut back on support that's not really solid support. So the heart cracks wide open. This was for the Divine Masculine yesterday. Hiding the third energy while finding peace, after being dumped by manipulative Queen of Cups reversed, holding back funds. So this is going to play out different ways for different situations, depending on what your situation is. Or after over-emotional Divine Feminine crying all the time, blocking new beginning, now the Divine Feminine cracking wide open, now that she moved. And some of them, it will have to do with their children, having finally got their children settled. So they have older children, it might be getting them settled like I have, or if you have younger children, getting them settled into school, or situations if there's been a divorce, if they're living in different houses, and the routine that has to do with that. So now is where everything's becoming settled, and the kids are taken care of peacefully. And now the Divine Feminine is now open to a King of Pentacles. I was getting in court that there's a couple different situations. A judge might have actually spit on a feminine, hopefully not physically, but figuratively. Or judgment was for the feminine, or the divine feminine catching everything divinely told to them openly. So the divine masculine seeing stuff on YouTube about twin flames and seeing all the feminines, they probably initially think they're all fools for listening to all this crap, right? So, but they're seeing the awakening, the growing roots up, the goalpost of the Empress grounding their awakening. So they're starting to get it. And You Deserve Love was coming up for the divine masculine, of course, because they're supposed to be learning to love themselves and connect with their higher selves. That's how you come together. You have to connect with your higher self. The divine masculine keeping quiet out in the open in order to surprise or maybe shock. And I kept getting the scissors, magnet, and coin. And dessert, a small dessert from the divine masculine. You can have a small dessert. But this came up again today, and it was like cutting to the chase. Injustice, truth and balance, and in fruit twice a day with conversation. So it was bringing up the importance of mealtime, like have breakfast together and dinner together with the family, to expose truth so nothing gets hidden. You always are open in conversation, and also for healthy meals, making sure you have fruit and vegetables twice a day. Also, the divine masculine was saying, and legs exposed, please, and knees and feet together like a lady. Women who feel like they have to be perfect or do everything was also coming up. Serve, be truth, be sexy, be angelic, be the lady, the doctor, the patient. Never justice for the divine feminine. And also final judgment comes out in a divorce or in a court case. And leadership for the divine masculine. So the divine feminine leads in the 5D, divine masculine leads in the 3D, 4D realm, okay? So the Page of Pentacles, so there's a Page of Pentacles. It could be a child, and it could be the divine masculine, someone who's learning or in school or wanting to invite someone to do something. But this Page of Pentacles is basically sending darts at the other awakened, trying to push the other awakened, those people who are trying to awaken the envelope and having backing. So it might even be a little bit of professional jealousy on the divine masculine's part, as he sits on his savings ready to start over in love. And the divine masculine has been fine not knowing or pretending not to see, but decision has to be made now. They know that. Children want to be held. They're seeing the way that children behave and learning from that. So children want to be held and play games and socialize. But he's also seeing that in his new life, does he want children? It will also drain all his savings. And he has to do all this work, right? Because children want to be held and play games and socialize. So it depends on the personality of the divine masculine. And if someone gets pregnant, it will drain all his savings. And then literally yesterday, Immaculate Conception came up. I literally was looking for something to be opened, and so I had to walk around a little bit to see if there's another store open like that. And I ended up right in front of the Immaculate Conception. And Cedar Street and Cedar Road was important because it came up several times yesterday, just within an hour or two. Cedar. So in the past, the King of Pentacles, the divine masculine, wanted to start over after injustice of the King of Pentacles, who was detached, holding back harsh words or announcement. But he actually wanted to charge forward quickly. So obviously hiding things within a shadow web that propelled him to ego and being out of control. Then the Page of Wands energy comes up, so this could be another child as well in the divine masculine's life, or it could be the divine masculine excited, feeling like a teenager again. The Queen of Swords talking about ending battles over wounds and causing more wounds in order to connect. And the challenge being balancing the scales of justice, rising above lovers, immature communication, lawyers in court, and a Sagittarius maybe at home, the divine masculine wanting to go home to peace and daydream. So if there's a lot of conflict at home, they're just sick of it, they don't want to fight anymore, they just want to go home to peace and just be able to dream a little bit. Now in the head and the heart for the divine masculine, hanging with the law, so So maybe a lawyer or a friend who's in the law some way, in the police or justice system, integrating the justice system and disconnect. The worst is over after a message of love of twin with family money. So everything's finally, the worst is over, and having to do with this court, and the Divine Feminine might have contributed to this situation with a message of love that they gave the Divine Masculine. Also, someone could have said something that they were pregnant to get family money, but also it could be pregnancy that's not the Divine Masculine's. It could be a miscarriage or an abortion as well. But it's a manipulation on the karmic's part to try to get the Divine Masculine to stay or to get his money, that kind of stuff. The Divine Feminine being deceived, the Divine Feminine as the Hermit sheds light on this and the heavy burden, the harsh truth of this romantic big love at work, the sweet judgment of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Soon peace with dolphins at work, so the dolphin energy came up. Maybe the team, the Dolphins, is coming up this week at work, creating a path to start over in love. So it may be also bringing up dolphins to listen to the dolphin music again. It really is very energizing and peaceful. He is opening up his crown after being closed off and not feeling well. Expressing love, paying attention to his signs and synchronicities. Around him, the Queen of Swords, or the Widow, is angry with the Queen of Wands reversed, or the King of Wands reversed. He could just be someone who's angry or exhausted, or it could be someone who's, a jerk. So this Queen of Swords, and it's coming up as the widow. It doesn't have to be someone who lost someone. It could just be the Divine Feminine, mourning the loss of her twin. Is angry with the King of Wands reversed, coming together with angels, or talking about other angels, the masculines who are angry and or exhausted. So, the Divine Feminine's all coming together, talking with each other about the whole situation. So this is coming up. It could be very draining for the Divine Masculine. The Divine Masculine needs to clear blocks about tower moments. So it's the fear of unexpected. The fear of the unexpected. So going into fear mode before anything even actually happens, paralyzing them into creative and sexual blocks until they can perform their daily duties again. So spiritual career and teaching and learning comes up for the Divine Masculine yesterday. Desperate to express division of self. Fessing up causes explosion into cracking the heart wide open into the present moment, happy to say goodbye. The Queen of Wands, tired of the Divine Masculine working so much. So the karmic energy. Okay, and then we get into today. Last night I watched Irreplaceable You, which probably started my crying last night. Irreplaceable You. Don't watch it if you don't want to cry, because you will. It was really good, though. Irreplaceable You. And also, something came up. I forget what I saw this on, but the male anglerfish is the only one that is that of the fish that mate for life. He bites into her and he never lets her go. So that was pretty funny. Irreplaceable You. Okay, so then we have today, which is the 21st. And I woke up, I had put on a meditation last night, but it was a 3-hour meditation, which woke me up at 3:38, which is a specific number for myself, actually. And 12:17, 12:55 came up last night. As well as, like I said, the male was 2772. This morning I woke, it's 8:21. I woke up at 8:21. And this read is 9:23 to 9:24 when I finished the read for today. Today is the 21st, which of course is the world, so it's about completion and going out into the world. It's about having the world at your fingertips. And the day adds up to 40, which is the Page of Cups. So it's that innocence, that new love. It's about children. It's about new children. Everything new in the world. But it's also about completion because it's the world. Okay, so someone who's been pregnant for 9 months may have a completion because they have their baby, that kind of thing. So those are the general energies for today. The energies that came up for the read today, from the Divine Feminine's perspective, is the Lovers, Indigo. Indigo is the Magician. The Wheel, the Sun. Karma, which is Judgment. Strength, and Transition, which is the Death card. There's 1 wand, 2 cups, 1 sword. Again, no pentacles. And that happened yesterday as well. And the number 4 was the only important number that came up, and also 121, which happens to also end up in a 4. So 4 and stability and structure and building is all coming up. A 4 is all about manifesting on the earth plane. So it's having the ability to manifest the life that you want on this earth. Okay, being able to get a job, being able to go out there and get it, whatever you need. You know, that's a really special ability to have. But that's the 4. It's all about the earth. But it is really the lower form of manifestation, because it's not manifesting in the etheric realms. It's only manifesting in the physical realm. It's very physical. 4. The coding was coming up all about, it was very simple. There wasn't a whole lot of definitions. It was just all about the Capricorn and the goat. It was expressing the emotions of the Capricorns. The Capricorns will be at the height of their emotions. It was about for the goat of hearts, the goat of emotions. It was all about that Capricorn energy. And it was saying it for the Divine Masculine and for the Divine Feminine. And it all had to do with the number 4 as well. Like going forth at the height of the emotions. The Holy Grail was coming up. Being seen and not heard at the height of passions. And this came up with the 5 wounds of Christ. Okay, so we're in the same, they're showing you over and over again that the twins are playing out the Jesus and Mary situation, okay? So at the height of passions, the light shines bright after dropping physical burdens, excited to be released from a mental prison, and obviously my throat chakra is closing up now, being seen and not heard. For the Divine Feminine, at the height of passions, the light shines bright after dropping physical burdens and excited to be released from their mental prison, or actual prison, depending on the person, after having thought a long time about starting over in love. Okay, so this is for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. The High Priestess is being shown to peek out, and there's sunflowers around them. And Children of the Corn came up again there. The Divine Feminine aligning with her goal of being with her Divine Masculine. And J was coming up for Jesus. In truth, in word, and in grounding. And then I happened to walk outside to ground my feet in the grass, and a beautiful orange and black butterfly flew right by my face. And I rarely see butterflies around my house, so that was a really nice surprise. It felt very murky, though, and otherworldly. I mean, I'm definitely feeling the 4D right now. It's very heavy. Just the world in general, you feel that murky heaviness. So it's also being shown that, and especially in the deck that I'm using, the High Priestess was the Queen of Swords. They look like the same person. They're dressed in the same colors. It's just the High Priestess is the Queen of Swords with all of her abilities now online. So her psychic abilities. While the Divine Masculine is holding on to their worldly goals. The King of Swords reversed, so the Divine Masculine not in their truth. So this is not for all Divine Masculines, for some. Not in their truth. Needing to be aligned with the need to learn about their connection arising from justice, divorce, breaking contract, or settlement. The Divine Feminine is teaching, Divine Masculine needing to learn. But there's an ego issue there, feeling like a child for the Divine Masculine. You know, they don't want to be the one, when they're at work, always the one doing the teaching, being the teacher. It's very hard for them to step down and be the student. Or also, the King of Swords could be a King of Swords and child, both out of sorts, learning together. Father and child connecting due to a divorce. So both disoriented, but because of that, they're connecting. They're really becoming close due to teachings and also paying attention to the teacher. So some children may not be paying attention and now finally learning to pay attention to their teachers. But also could be Divine Masculine listening to the Divine Feminine. So this could be the one comes up for the Divine Feminine. Having been silenced, no one puts baby in the corner came up again. The Emperor reviews what he's seen. So this is the Divine Masculine. There's a narcissist there with the winter hat comes up again, also a beard. And the electrode or prod that the pure of heart would flee from. It's like the Divine Masculine, they're reviewing what they've experienced, that no one could have experienced what I went through. And then she's like the wind came up again. And the old man on the can. So that was something I had gotten before. When I talked about the really, really bad man, this narcissistic energy was referencing this really bad man I'd seen in a past life. And the sexual energy for the Divine Masculine feeling dead, taken by others, and he allowed it. So him recognizing his part in all of this. Individuality came up, to remind her to be your true self. Also, the Divine Masculine, some may be coming up as a little boy, spoiled when he didn't get his way, and now left behind by 3, and that he had been putting on a fake smile to please the masses, you know, to be picture perfect, crying and crying with the third eye during the moon cycles until he was released from his prison. That could relate to the Divine Feminine as well. Recently, there's been full exposure, and it was like showing me like squeezing the juice out, so somebody actually might be squeezing orange juice also in the morning. Dumping a third party, and a one-sided wish is now exposed. Someone getting attention for crying all the time, unhappy alone, overindulging, gossiping, antisocial behavior. The foundation of this has to do with destiny. Divine Masculine and or a child seeing the truth of the fourth dimension world, the topsy-turvy world right now, floating in a sea with no way out. So I was literally seeing the Divine Masculine feeling the fourth dimension, okay? I was also getting like garland all around them with mistletoe permanently on the front and back doors. So it's like a prison where they can't get out of all this murky, crazy world. But there's actually positive things around. You know, there's mistletoe at both doors, but they just can't get out. The central issue being the lover's blocked by the Queen of Wands, so the karmic energy, who just won't stop. Out of control, stealing sexual energy from failed love relationship with pain, lies, betrayal, finally ending, challenged by, and this is for the Divine Feminine, and maybe an indigo child, so Divine Feminine may be having difficulty with an indigo child, but also the Divine Masculine and the Magician, needing the courage to be the Divine Masculine needing the courage to be their King of Pentacles self, for them to create their own legacy and not depend on his family for that legacy. That he wants the legacy with the Queen of Cups, the one who's in her heart space, okay? So now in the head and heart of the Divine Feminine, the Judgment card comes up, or in this deck it's Karma. It's a bold move to go within, past negative self-talk for the Divine Feminine and the lies we all tell ourselves, to feel and express passions, dreams, healing that were blocked even though released from the mental prison. So even though the Divine Feminine has released herself from her mental prison, she still may be having trouble going forward with her dreams. And this is going to be depending where you are in your cycle. So those who haven't been on the cycle for a long time may have cleared a lot, but now they have to work on some other blocks. The karmic had built a death fortress, imprisoning the King of Swords, the Divine Masculine, in a death trap to offer new beginning due to children. So I was getting, here's where I was getting again, pregnancy attempt. So maybe a divine masculine was approached by their karmic about having another child. And using the ploy of family legacy, since the karmic knows how important legacy is to the divine masculine. Like, she knows what buttons to push, so she's manipulating again. Where the King of Swords wants a new beginning with love offer from one with strong family, being patient, taking one step at a time to wake up their new love through work. Soon for the divine feminine, and again, this pregnancy situation could be all sorts of situations. It could be a karmic who just was approaching their divine masculine, a karmic where they got pregnant and neither one of them wanted to get pregnant, where they got pregnant and only the karmic wanted to get pregnant, or just the divine masculine wanted to get pregnant. There's going to be miscarriages, abortions, and then babies who aren't the divine masculines at all, that are being manipulated into this because of money. So soon for the divine feminine, the rays are shining down in the aftermath or the cleanup of this fourth dimensional state after loss of money and savings and transition, getting their wish finally, but at a cost of sadness, loss, and regret. Codependency comes up and make the effort for the divine feminine. But I want to get clear about the codependency here, because at the same time codependency was coming up for the divine feminine, in the position of how the divine feminine sees herself was actually coming up the energy of the divine masculine with his karmic. Okay? So for the divine feminine, she is strong. She is the eye of the tiger. She is at 0 point in the eye of the storm. The karmic, she's actually feeling the karmic Queen of Wands, stressed and crying over the divine feminine's freedom, or the divine masculine's freedom, detachment, and holding back their passions. But the divine feminine is feeling this play out within themselves because they feel the divine masculine. So the karmic energy is literally being felt by the divine feminine right now. In the energy at 0 point, is their relationship of the divine masculine opening his heart but being attached and holding their passion back. Around the divine feminine, the Queen of Swords has the lever ready to pull after fighting over. After the fighting is over, can't focus at work, an unhappy family. So whoever this Queen of Swords is, it can be the divine feminine, it can be a karmic, it could be a friend, whoever it is. She is in her truth, A Queen of Swords can be cold, it could be an air sign, but this is someone ready to pull the lever, ready to pull a switch. The divine feminine needs to clear blocks of transition, portal, out of depression, stuck emotions, prior to a new life. Having to talk about, again, scissors, magnets, and coins, and I was getting cutting to the chase, about everything, about the energy harvesting. So this is a big block for the divine feminine. The love partnership was coming up, and karmic completion. So this is really positive energy for the divine feminine. Then seeing Batman on the beach. So Batman is the Bat Cave, the divine masculine's heart. So the divine masculine on the beach. And I was getting 6.5 cups left behind, which isn't usually the case. So there's something specific about 6.5. So that means anything to anyone, let me know. The divine masculine taking a leap. And then I was getting leapfrog. So it's like showing the divine masculine leaping from their love of work, back to their karmic, back to self. So making another attempt back to the karmic, which has already happened, but then leaping to themselves, realizing they have to go within. This is the walking away from the 6.5 cups. Patience in the wake of defeat, leaving work, not getting along at work, or third party through work, unable to work with the Queen of Wands or the karmic energy, and needing their space. To love themselves, to refresh for a new love. So a new love, the past could be returning, so it could be a karmic returning, trying to get back in, but they're being really needy, needing attention, but also the divine masculine wanting to give attention to the divine feminine. The divine masculine waking up to great love, but needing to clean up a mess with the Queen of Wands neediness. New love giving to others amidst not sleeping, rising above and looking back. So him seeing the divine feminine doing this. Attention, so in summary, attention to destiny In the eye of the tiger, ready to change timelines, pull the switch and expose lovers' insecurities to the rays of light in the portal. This transition then, because we're in a portal now, ending karma through the third eye and the lotus crown to go within to self and find love. So it's really nice energy. So the portal, the death card in this deck is literally a portal. So we're going through this portal energy again. I'll show you the card. This is the transition, okay? So it's literally going through a portal. Don't block it for the Divine Feminine, because it's coming up as a block for the Divine Feminine. Don't be afraid to go through the portal to change timelines. Take that step. And I brought this up already, that we were already in the portal, but it wasn't fully open till today. And I'd gotten before that it was fully open today through around the 27th. To meditate with your Divine Masculine and go through this portal and not be afraid to. So that was really good energy. I'm going to pull some cards for you as well. Again, one of the main energies was cracking the Divine Masculine and Feminine, cracking their hearts wide open. So if you felt yourself close up at all, to be reminded to open yourself up. All right, you should be open to everything. Just know what your boundaries are. So if you keep your heart open to everything, you're never afraid to deal with any situation, because you just allow it to come in. If it begins to trigger you in any way, then you step out of the situation. That's it. You don't deal with it. Okay? And you go meditate, find peace within. So not to close off before you actually experience a situation, because it may be something totally different than what you thought it would be. So here's the Ascension deck. And let's see, for the organic, Divine Masculine, Divine Feminines. Organic, Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, Twin Flames. What is the advice? What is the advice? Okay, Lord Cthulhu. The bottom of the deck is Orion. Okay, Orion is number 18, which is the moon. And the affirmation is, I honor the masters of Orion and visit them in my sleep. So we've been getting a lot of cards to urge you to visit masters and angels and ETs in your sleep. So 36 is Lord Cthulhu. Okay. And it says, Lord Cthulhu is the world teacher. And we had the world today. In his incarnations as Saint Francis, Shah Jahan, who built the Taj Mahal, and Melchior, one of the wise men, Lord Cthulhu practiced harmlessness, love, and wisdom. And I love it when Saint Francis comes up, because I was actually in Saint Francis of Assisi in Italy in a backroom mass with a brown-eyed, blue-eyed monk before it was destroyed. It was a very profound moment. I was very young at the time, but one of the wise men, Lord Cthulhu, practiced harmlessness, love, and wisdom. These energies are encapsulated in this card, so you are encouraged to spread knowledge and spiritual truth to others with humility and inspiration. Be ready to learn, for Lord Cthulhu is drawing your attention to something important. He is a member of the Brotherhood of the Golden Robe, those who take in and transmute the pain of the world. If you're sensitive to energies, ask him to wrap you in his light. So wrap the golden light around you. The affirmation is, I am open to learning and teaching. So this was perfect for what we talked about today, because it was about not only teaching, but being open to learn as well, to let your pride issues go. 36 is the 10 of Wands. It's about dropping those burdens finally, because the load just gets too heavy. Okay, so that's why we are transmuting these difficult energies with humility and inspiration. Okay. For the past life deck, we have for the organic, Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, Twin Flames. What is the advice? Okay, we have phobias. Okay, so for those of you who have phobias, bottom of the deck is trust and faith. So it's really the advice. Have trust and faith. Call on your angels. Don't forget they can't help you if you don't ask for them. Okay. If you need help, which we all do every day, ask for their guidance every day. Phobias. and she's praying. But remember, phobia is just like everything else. Fear, pain, everything's fear. And it's all an illusion. To find your love space, your heart space, to meditate. So whenever you go into some kind of fear that you've had, go into a meditation and just remember that it's an illusion. Take that deep breath. Maybe you need to do that position, right? Stretch it up. Left hand up, right hand down. Because left enters, right exits energy. Be the circuit with the earth. So it really would be great to do this standing outside, because then you're making a circuit, literally with the earth and sky. So maybe it's recommending to do that, or fly a kite. But with the with phobias, it's all about being in your head. So that's an automatic trigger to meditate, or just drop into your heart. Take a few deep breaths, hold your breath, because that brings your heart rate right down. Focus on your breath. That gets you out of your mind, okay? And have trust and faith. Be patient with yourself as well. Don't get on yourself for feeling like you failed for anything. It's all part of the process, okay? So important to be good to yourself and not punish yourself when you think that you're not on track or you're not keeping up with everybody else. It's all part of your process, okay? So for the journey of love, for the organic divine masculine divine feminine twin flames, what is the advice? There's two actually. Fire and ice is at the bottom. That's number 1. Oh, it's not number 1, 17, sorry. So fire and ice, and that is number 37. So that's the King of Cups. The first card that came out is She Loves. Okay. Which is 61. And then Heaven also came up. Number 70. Okay, and there's a lot of blue in this. It's all about the throat chakra, this card. 70. Whew, and I'm getting hot. It's definitely feeling some masculine energy. I'm starting to sweat. Okay, so 61 is the 7 of Swords, and 70 is the 2 of Pentacles. Right? So the 2 of Pentacles guy is all about performing. Could just be performing your daily duties, but it's also performing, it's not real. It's only real when you're doing what your heart's desire is. So I'm going to read you what they say. I'll do 61 first, and then Heaven is actually the last card of the deck. She Loves is very earthy. It's very deep reds and greens, like olivey greens and golds. And then Heaven is very different. It's very about the blues and the throat chakra. So 61. She Loves. Forgiveness is here for you now. Can you partake of it? Forgiveness for your own self, for the times you messed up, which we just talked about. Didn't love, forgot to trust, tried to take over and decided against surrender. Forgiveness is here for you now, for the times when you couldn't forgive another, even when you really tried and really wanted to. She loves. She is here for you now. Open your heart to the angel goddess of forgiveness and let her fill your heart. You are free. This oracle brings you a message from the divine. You are forgiven. You are worthy of forgiveness, and you are capable of great spiritual generosity in forgiving others. If there's a person you cannot forgive, you are really just not forgiving yourself, perhaps for being vulnerable, for not knowing better, or for not listening to your own intuition. It's time to let go and allow that forgiveness that the divine has for you to fill your heart. You are free now. You just need to realize it. And the poem reads, the cherry blossom knows when to bloom each year and never questions whether its beauty is enough. There is peace in knowing you always bloom well, yet man spends a lifetime in wonder. Okay, so don't question your birthright. Okay? It's okay. Don't get on yourself for making mistakes. It's all part of the process. Number 70 is heaven. You're meant to live heaven now, not later, sometime after you die. What use is this life and body if not to live heaven now? Look for the mad divine genius in all that is, especially the puzzling parts of your life that make you scratch your head or tear at your hair or scrunch up your face and scream with frustration. Those are the places in which the divine is saying, here, heaven is hiding. Let's unveil it together. Let me show you. Let me unveil your own mad divine genius right here. Look for heaven even in hiding. It will not withhold itself from you for long, beloved. It wants to be known by you. This oracle brings you a special message. The enlightener is calling you to more, to more, to more. More divinity, more love, more acceptance. More embrace of life itself. There's no limit in what is being offered to you from the divine lover, calling to you, the beloved. Rejoice and know that the dance of love between you and the divine is a removing of the veils of illusions, one at a time, until you behold each other, naked and true, finally to discover you are each other, you are love. And the poem reads, the sky ablaze with morning light, on silver wings of bird in flight, in gratitude a tear released, a knowingness embraced at peace. She speaks to those that gaze below, ancestral wings which call my soul, to open hearts and soar above, in awe the winds await this love. So be free. Sometimes you need a good cry to be free. Okay? Trust yourself. It's really, really positive energy today, although it's, there's some underlying heaviness because we're in fourth dimension, you know, it's the murkiness. Oh, also my sand art today was showing a lot of that. It's 1212, by the way. It's murkiness. My sand art ended in all this 4D murkiness, and I was being shown initially, you know, the two guys in the Muppets, like sitting in the special box, you know, in the audience. So I was being shown that we're like the guys sitting in the box watching the show. You know, we have the special seats up above watching everything that's going on. And I was getting a lot of the, let's see, it was a long one. So the angels being up in the box watching. And I was getting Niagara Falls again. Like really a lot of disruption going on. And the murkiness of the 4D, so people being wounded and can't get up and feeling woozy and not knowing where they are and becoming dazed and confused and disoriented. But I'm also being shown angels lining up again at Niagara Falls. There's something important about Niagara Falls because it's been coming up over and over again. And I'm showing bridging again at Niagara Falls, but there's also angels there. And I'm being shown the murkiness of the fourth dimension. And what's the word? You know, but can't think of the word. Just, you know, the little creatures that draw on you, that kind of energy coming up from the murkiness. But again, after all of this, and things being dropped, and new little seeds being planted, and divisions occurring, but for a reason, in order to release emotions. And then I see the seeds growing, and the divine masculine getting his creative energy back. And then just seeing people like waking up. They're waking up like they were, you know, in a fog, in a state of confusion. So this is the fourth dimension, but the angels, the twins are basically in it but disconnected from it at the same time. but this is what's going on around us. So just wanted you to give you that message as well. So have a great day, guys. Rise and be love. Take it easy. Make sure you get enough rest right now. Definitely do some meditation going into the portal with your twin. And, just have a great day. Drink water. Bye. Rise and be love.